Making of my fashion garment. Starting with the corset, here I'm pattern cutting. I'm pinning the first panels together. My bodice did come out uneven, so I did need to unpick and resew. Next, I am embroidering my blood splatters. Sewing the beads on with white thread. Just chucked the beads on there because I wanted it to look quite randomised, like it would if it was a real blood splatter. Sewing the back panels on now. Now I'm ironing down the hems. Now cutting out my lining, ironing the lining. Is where we're at so far. Attaching the lining and main bodice together. Flipped it inside out and now it's all lined and all the embroidery thread is hidden on the back. I must have cut unevenly, needed to cut off the excess fabric. Now focusing on making channels for the lining. I made them all 1 centimetre. Now I am creating the channels. Is them with the boning in. Now you can tell that the structure of the corset is coming together. Still need to hem the bottom and most importantly add the antlers. Now focusing on the skirt, I followed my toile and started pattern cutting the pattern I made. Needed 8 panels together. We're remembering seam allowance and then I'm sewing them together. Hemming the top of the skirt, now adding my invisible zip. Did make the mistake of sewing in a straight line. It almost looked like a pencil skirt on the back. I unpicked the zip and re-sewn it so it follows the skirt pattern. Here's it all coming together. Next, I'm going to focus on the antlers, cutting the rough outline of what I want them to look like. Sewn 2 and 2 together, I can make channels. Now I need to work out how to attach them into the corset. Unpicking this channel. Now I'm using wire to give the antlers structure. This wire was too floppy and didn't hold up the antler, so I did try a range of different things such as this and these, but it still didn't hold up. As you can see, it's floppy, so I had to use this thick wire. Here's me feeding it through the corset and then feeding that wire through the antlers so they're all attached. Here's them onto my corset. To cut off the excess wire. As you can see, that wire gives them structure. Now I'm using bias binding to hem the bottom of the corset. This will stop the antlers from moving and stop the wire and boning from falling out or moving. I wanted the skirt to be more of a deer-like pattern, so I thought a plique would be a good idea to create these deer spots. However, it just wouldn't stick onto the fabric and I burned a hole into my skirt. I had to scrape them off for ages and then I decided to just paint it instead, but I thought this looked even better. Now I'm inserting my eyelets, but at first I had to make it smaller so that it would fit me. Here's me adding the eyelets, using this hole puncher tool to create a hole and then hammering them in. Now I'm creating the sleeve, so I use this furry fabric. I added a button and used elastic to create a armband. Then I hanged blood and embroidery thread from the antlers. And there's my final outcome.